like this weird competition of cool.
You take a reef shot to the side of the head for a wave like that.
If I can win this, this will be the greatest moment of my life.
All the girls are surfing so well. They're beautiful inside and out.
Going skagless is a whole nother realm, like a fast version of body surfing.
There's something about just getting in the ocean and cleansing ourselves of everything else that's going on in the world.
My job description is student of surfing.
Board Stories TV is proudly presented by Cholo's Homestyle Mexican in Haleiwa Town, Waimea Valley on Oahu's North Shore, and OC16, 100% original, 100% local.
Aloha everyone, I'm your host Chris Atronic and welcome to Board Stories, coming to you from the beautiful North Shore of Oahu. On this show, we join the Hawaii Junior Surf Team as they head over to the Azores for the ISA World Junior Surfing Championships, bringing pride and aloha to the event and mixing it up with nearly 40 surfing nations. We also check out stop number 2 of the Hawaii Bodyboarding Pro Tour at the one and only Sandy Beach, and get some ocean safety tips from North Shore lifeguard Noland Keaulana. But before we get into all that, it's time for our Tube of the Week, starring North Shore's crown jewel, Pipeline.
For this Tube of the Week, we showcase the opening swell of the winter season, where stacking westerly lines met the famed reef of Pipeline, providing big barrels for all. Stay tuned. We're coming back with some ocean safety tips that you need to know, right here on Board Stories.
Noland Keaulana. I work for the city and county of Honolulu. I'm a lifeguard on the North Shore. Typically, we just try to give warnings to beach patrons by posting signs and doing announcements. And the large surf makes it dangerous, first of all, and then we got a lot of rip currents that comes out between all these surf breaks. When you doubt yourself and when you second guess yourself, that means when in doubt, stay out of the water. That's why we say don't go out, yeah? For tourists who's coming to visit, highly recommend that they check the surf reports, try to understand the conditions of where you're going to go to, try to identify the hazards, get more knowledge by going to the tower and asking the lifeguards. They'll tell you exactly what's dangerous out there and try to prevent you from going in the water if it's really dangerous. And take our warning seriously because it's no joke out there. It's putting our lives in danger too. If it's extreme conditions, it's your first time out here, I would highly recommend don't even go out. Amateur surfers that in their own head they become pros, but they're making poor judgments on paddling out at like Waimea or out to Sunset, Pipeline. We try to keep those people out of the water because they're just a hazard to other surfers and stuff. People want to go out there and be spectators, and we got people on Sharks Cove. They want to get as near as they can to the big waves and just try to get that selfie. When you have to second guess yourself, that means just stay back. Don't even approach it. And then if you guys see signs, try to read them. And then if it says a hazard, just stay back. Don't even approach. If you're stuck in a rip current going out, you're most likely in a channel, and what you want to try to do is try to swim your way out of the rip current, either right or left, and try to get into the surf. We recommend that you let the waves pound you back to shore. So we have a thing that says white water in, blue water is going to go out. Okay, so if you see somebody face on in the water, first thing you want to do, maybe try to get people's attention on the beach to activate 911. If you're capable to go out there, try to get the person and bring them back to shore, and then immediately do chest compressions. You want to do 100 to 120 compressions per minute, and then it's non-stop compressions until advanced care arrives. If he's conscious, then you can do like a head cram maneuver if you're in the shoreline. You come underneath the armpits, and then you come around the head and you can stabilize the person. It is hard to get a dead weight person onto a board, but we have this maneuver that we do. You can actually put your board upside down, make the board go up to like right underneath the armpit, and then you lock the hands and then you flip the board one more time. You can get it right up to the stomach area, and then you can do a quick twist of the body in line with the board, and then that's how you can get on the board and then straddle them and then start paddling them back in. I'm Noland Keaulana, City County Lifeguard on the North Shore, and you're watching Board Stories.
Up next, the Hawaii Junior Surf Team heads to the Azores to compete in the ISA World Junior Surfing Championships. Stay locked to Board Stories.
Burrito, taco salad, black bean nachos, yum, fish tacos, mojito, margarita.
Homestyle Mexican food and the best grinds in the islands. Cholos at the North Shore Marketplace. Live the dream!
In this Hawaii Surf Team ISA adventure, we make our way across the Pacific and Atlantic Oceans to Portugal. Where off the coast lies a majestic island chain known as the Azores.
The Azores is amazing. I love it here. The water, the weather, the landscapes, it really resembles a lot of Hawaii. From what they say, this is like the Hawaii of the Atlantic is very true.
It's a volcanic island chain, so they have these big mountains with like lakes in the middle of the craters, which is super cool.
Well, it's all old, like brick and cobblestones and super old buildings and really tight streets.
It's absolutely beautiful. We got to actually do a lot of sightseeing here in the lakes and the whole scenery, and it's just like home, kind of like green and just the warm vibe, and it's awesome to be here.
This is my first year, so it's super cool to come and see the event, see how it works, and just be able to be a part of such a cool thing.
Opening ceremonies was pretty eye-opening. There was so many countries, people chanting, screaming. It was pretty crazy.
Everyone's coming here for a reason, and that's to bring home the gold. The talent level across the world has progressed so much with the popularity of surfing and the boom of competitive surfing especially, and the ISA has done a really good job of nurturing and supporting the smaller countries. So I'm really excited to see a lot of the returning names, like the contenders, and then a lot of new faces. We have a really talented team and really happy to have Keiko Bacalso on the team as well as one of the coaches. Reynolds is doing a great job of leading the charge, and you know, we're all just trying to do our part to just make sure the gears keep turning smoothly.
The spring is pretty awesome. It's just like home, you know. It's like a Pupukia sandbar or like a Gums kind of deal. It's right up our alley. I'm confident on our kids, and you know, just as long as they have fun and focus on their surfing and nothing else, I think we're good to go.
There's a couple here and there, little corners, barrels, lefts, rights. I don't know. It looks fun, like 8-kai short break, but whatever. We've all surfed this before. It's nothing new, so we're on fire.
A little beach break, peaks everywhere, and there's like 3 peaks in like 50 yards, basically. Pretty rippable, tiny little beach break.
Team dynamic is really awesome. We have 3 new rookies: Ko Yokota for the boys U18, and Wyatt McHale for the boys U16, and then Zoe McDougall for the girls U16.
We gotta find a range today. Today is our last day. You know, we're kind of got to kick into gear already. It's time to work now. There's a lot of people everywhere, so whatever you guys get, make it count. Make that one turn count right out of it.
Don't go anywhere. The contest horn blows and the international teams mix it up in the battle for gold. Keep it right here on Board Stories. In the Atlantic islands of the Azores, the Visla ISA World Junior Surfing Championships kicked off with over 300 surfers from around the world ready to compete, and Team Hawaii was fired up.
Hawaii has a very good shot at bringing some high scores. You know, a lot of the rides are 2 turns at best, but if you put together 2 quality maneuvers, you can get 8 points, you know, maybe even higher.
With constantly fluctuating conditions, it was difficult to find the right competitive groove amongst Praia de Monteverde's many peaks. And since participation has been the most ever this year, double elimination and repecharge rounds were only valid through round 2, turning up the competitive spunk early on and leading to some convincing victories and some hard defeats. Nonetheless, that never stopped Team Hawaii from throwing it down and making marks to the very end. Putting on perhaps the performance of the event, Brazil's under-16 phenom Sammy Pupo went down swinging in epic fashion. After committing a fatal priority interference move, the young Brazilian took caution to the air, literally. Caroline Marks from USA was formidable in the under 16 girls division, taking it all the way to the gold with ease. Francis Thomas Debier was looking like a young Bede Durbridge, sealing the under 16 boys gold for the French. The coveted under 18 girls final saw Hawaii's Brisa Hennessy take true championship form. With less than a minute left and needing a score, Brisa lucked into a standing right and slashed her way into the record books as the new ISA under 18 girls world champion. Another strong seed from the Dantes family, Wesley has become a man of his own this competition. Showing power and style combined with brute control, the judges were constantly impressed with the Brazilian's performance the entire event, earning him the gold medal in the prestigious under 18 boys division. Stay tuned. The Sandy Beach Challenge is up next, highlighting stop number 2 of the Hawaii Bodyboarding Pro Tour, right here on Board Stories. Promotional support for Board Stories is provided by Waimea Valley, where Hawaii comes alive. Check them out online at waimeavalley.net and give them a visit next time you're on the North Shore.
Welcome back to Board Stories, here in Oahu's famed North Shore. We're gonna hop on over to the east side of Oahu, where another famed beach hosted the Hawaii Bodyboarding Pro Tour stop number 2, the Sandy Beach Challenge.
This Board Stories bodyboard segment is brought to you by Science Bodyboards. Bringing stop number 2 of the Hawaii Bodyboarding Pro Tour to Sandy Beach, the state's top bodyboarders were eager to duke it out at one of bodyboarding's most iconic venues.
We are at one of the founding birthplaces of modern bodyboards. This is like the mecca for bodyboarding here at Sandy Beach. It's kind of notorious for the heavy shore break here, so you got that going for it. Then you move out a little bit, you got Pipe Littles, which is a little reef that goes into the shore break, and then right outside of that you got Half Point, which is a pretty high performance wave for bodyboarding. It's super shallow and a lot of juice, so you can get a lot of speed. Even on small waves, you can get some pretty good airs out there. And then as you move out, you go out to Full Point, and so you got this whole spectrum of surfing conditions. Yeah, the first contest I ever entered was here at Sandy's at Pipe Littles, and the first contest I ever won on a bodyboard was here as well. So not just for me, but for a lot of the founding fathers of this sport, they kind of cut their teeth here. So it was just this big era of development at the very beginning, and this is where it all happened, Sandy Beach.
The Hawaii Bodyboarding Pro Tour hosts 6 divisions, highlighting the different disciplines in bodyboarding, as well as giving junior pros, women, and masters a chance to show off their skills. And with some hurricane surf in the forecast, the scenario played out well for competitors to get some quality waves.
You know, we dodged those 2 hurricanes, and it was really touch or go whether this is going to be like gale force winds and like, okay, we can't even set up, or we do set up and then gale force winds come, so we didn't really know what we're going to get. And looking at Surfline's forecast, I kind of like, okay, well, hey, it could be all time on Saturday, and it actually turned around, so everyone got in, and I think it was pretty good.
The first day of competition showcased the juniors, masters, stand-up, and drop-knee fields. In the junior division, perennial standouts Tanner McDaniel and Kavika Kamai showed their prowess through the early rounds to make the final, along with fellow junior competitor Corden Stapp. But in the end, it was first-time finalist Kellen Yamasaki who was beyond stoked to take out his first tour victory.
Yesterday I made my first final, and then come here today and get first, like, woo! Such a great event. Stoked to come out on top.
Taking it up to the Masters, some new entries showed up to round out the division, with all the salty dogs enjoying their water time. But once again, the drop knee approach of Jimmy Hutath reigned supreme, with the Maui native taking out the final.
I encourage all you other guys out there that are 40 plus, come out and surf with us. All right.
On to the drop knee division, and it was a stacked field of previous winners, including past champion Dave Hubbard. But with Dave falling just short of the final, the door was left open for the rest of the field to capitalize and battle for the win. Ultimately, it was Sandy Beach local Kavika Kamai who threw down some stylish slashes to take out his first drop knee tour victory. The unique stand-up division brought a surf style to the event, with competitors ditching the fins and laying down some carves. The final showcased a mix of styles and some impressive riding by Kauai's Dave Hubbard. But putting down two high-scoring rides was Maui boy Matt Crilly, en route to the victory. Day 2 saw the women and men pros take to the water in the continued hurricane swell. The women's final saw some quality riding, with veteran Carla Costa taking out the big W. With the biggest field of the event, the men's pro division highlighted the top bodyboarding in the state and came with a deep field of talent.
There's a number of good riders throughout the contest that were surfing really good. Jeff and Dave are always really hard and kind of targets for guys to beat because they're on the world tour as well. And in fact, Jeff is leading the world tour, so he's kind of the guy to beat right now, and everyone's kind of shooting for him. But during the day, it wasn't like he had a walkthrough. So there's guys that really stood out. You know, guys who made it to the finals. Keahi Parker, Tanner McDaniel had a stellar semi, and Kavika Kamai was ripping. Those guys were standouts to me. Gosh, there's so many guys that were tearing. Even Trevor Cam got a couple huge flips and got really high scores, and guys were just like letting it go, and it was pretty cool to see.
In the final, the battle for first came between the brother duo of Jeff and Dave Hubbard. While Dave found some great rides, he couldn't quite match his older bro.
He's a smart competitor to begin with, and you know, he's technically very capable, so you put those two together and he's hard to beat.
Really stoked. I just want to say thanks to all the staff here at Kellogg's and all the sponsors and all the people, the judges, and everyone that works so hard to make these events possible. This is awesome. This is great for everybody. I'm stoked. Thank you guys. Mahalo.
Mahalo, you guys, for tuning in for this episode. I really hope you enjoyed it. Remember, head on over to freesurfmagazine.com for more great content from all your favorite Hawaii surfers. Well, that's it for me, your host, Chris Otronic. I think I'm going surfing. See you in the water. Aloha.